Good morning. Wait. This isn't just a good morning, it's actually a great morning, and here's why. This is not an episode of World Watch News in 3 right now. You're about to see a full episode preview of World Watch, which launches officially on August 10th. The news in 3 you're used to seeing will wrap up in August so that our daily 10-minute program can take over, and we can't wait for you to be a part of it. Do make sure that you stay tuned all the way to the end. I'll tell you where you can find out more. Good morning. It's Monday, July 13th, and this is World Watch. Celebration and the Islamic call to prayer in Istanbul, the biggest city in Turkey. That country's highest court gave Turkey's president the power to designate this historic building a place of Muslim worship, a mosque. This is Hagia Sophia, meaning holy wisdom. It was the world's largest Christian church when Byzantine Emperor Justinian built it some 1,500 years ago. When the Turks took over the city more than 500 years ago, they converted the church to a mosque. They added 4 minarets and covered Christian features with Islamic symbols. Fast forward to the year 1934. Turkey had become a modern secular nation. Its first president, Ataturk, turned Hagia Sophia into a museum. And that's the decision that Turkey's High Court reversed.
Once upon a time, this was a place of worship for Christians. But with the conquest, it has become a symbol for us.
Today, God will be worshipped in this mosque.
That would be the God of Islam, the dominant religion in Turkey. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's decision may appeal to voters, but it has sparked outrage in other nations and sadness among many Christians. Well, here's something that may be a small benefit of coronavirus lockdowns. American credit card debt is down to the lowest level in 9 years. We have fewer places to go and fewer reasons to break out the plastic. Well, here you can see how personal debt has gone up and up, but then back down as stores and restaurants began closing, to the point in May where credit card debt fell below $1 trillion for the first time since the year 2016. The U.S. Supreme Court wrapped up its 2019 term last week and adjourned for the summer break. The 9 justices issued the final 20 of their total 60 decisions between late May and early July. But this term was unlike any other. Coronavirus precautions shut the court down temporarily for the first time since the year 1918. That was when the Spanish flu plagued the country. It resumed by hearing cases over a secure phone line.
It's rational in light of the court's decision.
Thank you, counsel. Justice Breyer.
Good, thank you. I'm sorry. The telephone started to ring, and it cut me off the call.
That was a first. In one of the court's July decisions, it ruled in a case involving the way we choose our presidents, what's known as the Electoral College. All right, let me go ahead and put a pin in that. We're just going to put it aside right over here. We'll come back to it a little bit later to explain more. It's important because later this November, every American over age 18 gets to help pick the president as this campaign heats up this summer. As the weather heats up, Americans are returning to beaches, and already we're seeing reports of increased jellyfish activity. But it's a real problem in Israel. Look at this. Every summer, swarms of blue jellyfish wash up from the Mediterranean Sea and threaten to clog one of Israel's power stations. Workers have to clear them out before they gum up the plant's turbines. Success here, and they even rescued a sea turtle and released it back into the ocean.
World Watch News is sponsored by Samaritan Ministries. Healthcare is better together.
Remember I was telling you about the Supreme Court and a ruling it made in a case involving the Electoral College? Let's get back to that story right there. What the court did was give states more authority over electors they choose for the college, the power to keep them in line. The Electoral College is a body of 538 people called electors who pick the President of the United States. Now, each state, based on population size, appoints a number of these. The question was whether states can punish those electors if they don't vote as they're supposed to. The Supreme Court says they can. World Watch reporter Michelle Schlavin explains more.
Welcome to Electoral College. Our first class, how to elect a president. With just 2 exceptions, all our states appoint electors who are pledged to whichever candidate receives the most votes in their state. California has by far the biggest population, and so it gets to choose the most electors, 55. 7 states plus the District of Columbia choose the minimum number, and that's 3. Whatever candidate receives 270 or more electoral votes wins. Originally, these electors were supposed to use their own good judgment about picking a president. Citizens knew and trusted these electors better than they knew the candidates running. States set their own rules for choosing electors. Over time, and with more influence from political parties, states moved to winner-take-all elections. The states of Maine and Nebraska choose electors a little differently. The system is important because out of the 120 million or more ballots voters will cast this fall, the election could come down to just a handful of electoral votes. I can show you a scenario where the election ends in a tie. This is the website 270 to win. I'm going to change each of the toss-up states to red. That gives President Trump 269 votes. Then remember I said Nebraska is not a winner-take-all state? Let's say the one toss-up vote goes Democrat. That's 269 votes. So how do we get a winner? The House of Representatives would choose. And that's a lesson for another day. For World Watch, I'm Michelle Schlavin.
When you think about people suffering with physical or emotional trauma, we often imagine them in an office, maybe even lying down on a couch talking to a therapist. But World Watch reporter Taylor Farrar is here to show how getting back in the saddle may just be the best thing. Hey, Taylor.
Yeah, Brian, well, if you look behind me, you're going to notice some horses. And I know that may sound strange because we are talking about therapy, but these guys really do make a difference in people's lives. Check it out.
Melissa Powers McPhail has suffered loss.
I've literally done every kind of counseling known to man. Literally every type.
Lost her mother when she was a young child. When she was a young mother, she lost 2 of her children hours after birth. She suffers from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and sought help for it.
And this is the only thing that's ever worked.
And what she means by this is equine therapy. She was skeptical at first.
How is this going to help me? How is this going to make me want to go home and even think about living another day?
But something changed.
You have an incredibly kind heart, but you are carrying an immense amount of pain. And it was like they saw me.
McPhail spends much of her time here at this ranch called Bit of Hope. It offers Christian-focused equine-assisted therapy. Whoever is righteous, that proverb goes, has regard for the life of his beast. Here at Bit of Hope, that regard goes both ways.
So when they come out, we don't tell them the horse's name, we don't tell them their story, we let them walk in the pastures and see the horses in their natural habitat. And most of the time, a client is drawn to one particular horse.
So why not use a dog? They're loving, they're trusting, but maybe they're too trusting. With a horse, you actually have to earn its trust, and that is a part of the process.
What's going on the inside of me is going to affect what's going on with that horse. And as soon as I get grounded and calm and confident, the horse is like, oh, you're more pleasant to be around now. And so they're going to try to connect and engage. They're my lie detectors.
McPhail picked this one, Raina. Well, more accurately, it seems Raina picked her. Even after all this time, coming to the ranch, Melissa says,
there's this one turn that I always make my blood pressure goes down 10 beats and all the windows come down and you pull in, and that's when you start to hear the sounds and smell the smells.
For World Watch, I'm Taylor Farrar.
It looks like a bird, but it's actually a flying robot called Bionic Swift. When inventors copy the creator's design in nature, it's known as biomimicry. Well, German automation company Festo is a biomimicker. The feathers of Festo's robots are like those of a real bird, ultralight, flexible, and strong. The feathers fan out during the upstroke, allowing airflow through the wing, and on the downstroke, the feathers, they close up to trap the air and create lift. And the flying robot weighs less than a golf ball. Bionic Swift can even fly alongside multiple birds using radio-based indoor GPS. Festo says its creation could be used to track workers in stock in the factories of the future. Maybe you've participated in an online church service during the pandemic, but I bet you haven't seen this.
Of Jesus as our Messiah.
Canterbury Cathedral had a special guest in its online morning prayer service. 13-year-old Tiger the cat seems to feel right at home.
Repent and believe the gospel. Sorry, we've acquired a friend this morning.
Maybe he should have spoken on the commandment, thou shalt not steal, including your neighbor's milk. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm the Big Bash. Do make sure that you subscribe. It's going to be free for you. We're going to let you know whenever there is a new program. And remember, whatever the news, the purpose of the Lord will stand. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey there, it's me again. I hope you guys enjoyed today's preview of our full video current events program. Just 28 more days until we launch our full show. Make sure that you head over to our site, worldwatch.news, for more info, discounts, and updates. From there, you can also go ahead and pre-order a subscription to the program if you're ready.